What's up, everybody? It's Coach Brian, assistant coach of my son's 12U travel ball team, and your host of the Cleats and Carpool podcast, the podcast where we talk everything youth baseball. We keep it real between games, car rides, and those long tournament weekends. So, in case you missed me, I decided to take a little break from the show to enjoy spring break with my boy, which ultimately spending time with my boy is the number one priority. But today, we are back at it, and we're tackling one subject that every parent, coach, and player has strong feelings about: umpires. You know the drill. That pitch that 6 inches off the plate called strike three. The safe call that looked like your kid was tagged by 3 feet. The zone that started beach ball big in the first inning and turned into a postage stamp by the 5th. We've all lived it. I still remember last season when my son took a called third strike that was literally in the other batter's box. And he just looked at me in the dugout like, "Coach." But here's the truth we're digging in today. Umps aren't the enemy. They're humans, often volunteer dads, retired coaches, or part-timers, hustling in 95-degree heat with no replay, no salary, and zero glory. Bad calls can and do happen, but they don't have to ruin the weekend or your kid's love of the game. In this episode, we're going deep. How to teach kids and parents to handle bad calls without melting down. Respect without getting squeezed. Stopping the ump from dictating your swing. How catchers can actually win strikes with good vibes. What umpires themselves can do to keep it fair and help kids develop. And yeah, robot umps are here in MLB and what that means for our travel ball world. We'll pull real strategies from college and pro coaches, ABCA clinics, Little League University, Youth Baseball Edge, and much, much more. Stick around. You'll walk away with practical, doable stuff you can use at your next tournament. Grab your coffee or your kid's Gatorade, and let's get into it. Let's start with the elephant on the field. Umpires are humans just like us. Take Angel Hernandez, the most roasted ump in MLB history. Retired in May 2024 after 33 years, and Twitter basically threw a party. The guy had legendary moments, calling strikes that were foot off the plate, safe calls that looked like outs from the nosebleeds. But even the best MLB umps aren't perfect. Latest data from 2025 showed they hit a record 92.8% accuracy on balls and strikes, which still means roughly 10 to 11 missed calls per 9-inning game. Now zoom in on our 12U world. Our umps are volunteers, maybe a dad who coached 10 years ago, a high school kid trying to stay in the game or make some extra cash, or someone who just loves baseball. They're not getting paid big bucks. They don't have a Hawkeye tech, and they're standing in the same heat and dust that we are. Recent studies on umpire bias, even at pro levels, show tiny patterns, like slightly wider zones early in the games or first pitch calls leaning strike, because they're human and they are tired as well. The big thought here: empathy changes everything. When a call goes against us, instead of losing our minds, remember Angel survived decades of memes. Your local volunteer is probably just having an off Saturday. A simple "thanks, Blue" or a post-game handshake goes further than you think. It models for our kids that the game is bigger than the one pitch. College coaches I've heard at ABCA clinics say the same. Respect the ump first, then focus on what you can control. That mindset keeps the fun in the game and teaches our 12-year-olds life skills that last way longer than any trophy. Okay, let's get real. Bad calls are as guaranteed in 12U travel ball as sunflower seeds in the dugout and that one kid who forgets his water bottle every single tournament. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. A simple bad ump can absolutely wreck a kid's confidence, mindset, and entire approach at the plate, especially when the kid has been training hard to own their zone. Now, I want you guys to picture this. Your son spent weeks in the cage and during BP working on plate discipline. He's drilled my pitch, my swing. He knows his strike zone cold, tracks the ball beautifully, and has been laying off the junk outside or up in the zone like a pro. Then game day hits and the ump starts calling strikes that are literally over the kid's head. Face level meatballs or 6 inches off the plate on the outside corner. Suddenly, everything he trained for feels worthless. One called third strike on a pitch that would have been ball 4 in any other game, and boom, his confidence evaporates. He starts second guessing himself. Was that really a strike? Am I seeing it wrong? Do I need to swing at everything now? Do I suck? That doubt snowballs fast. Mindset flips from I'm locked in, see ball, hit ball to I better protect the plate on every pitch or I'm done. He starts chasing pitches he normally spits on, expands his swing path, gets out in front, and turns into a free swinger who looks nothing like the disciplined hitter he trained to be. I've watched it on our own 12U team. One kid who was raking 450 with great pitch selection suddenly looked lost after 2 straight ridiculous called strikes. His shoulders slumped, his eyes got wide on every pitch, and by the 3rd at bat, he was swinging at balls in the dirt because he didn't trust the zone anymore. It's brutal. College and pro hitting coaches talk about this all the time. One bad zone can destroy a player's trust in their own eyes and judgment. The folks at youth baseball call it umpire-induced approach collapse. The kid who trained for discipline now feels powerless. His confidence tanks because the game he prepared for isn't the game being called. Frustration builds. Tension creeps into his hands and shoulders, and the next thing you know, he's pressing, he's guessing, or just giving up on the at-bat. The worst part, it carries over. The doubt lingers into the next at-bat, the next game, the next tournament, and sometimes even the ride home turns into, I suck at hitting now. Parents feel it too. You watch your kid who loves baseball suddenly look defeated over something completely out of his control. And that's exactly why we have to teach them how to fight back against it. We can't control the ump, but we can control the response so one bad zone doesn't steal a kid's confidence or undo all the training. That's where a simple 3-step process comes in. Drilled in practice, talked about in the dugout, and should be used every single game. It's pulled straight from what top hitting coaches and sports psych folks recommend. Plus, the reset rituals you hear on Youth Baseball Edge and in mindset books like Inside Out Coaching. Step 1, breathe and release the frustration. The reset ritual. Right after that face level called strike or that pitch that was clearly in the other batter's box, dump the emotion before it festers and destroys the next at bat. Take one big slow breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Then do a quick physical release, a silent fist bump down by your side, a quick helmet tap with your batting gloves, or squeeze the bat handle hard for a second and then let it go. This isn't fluff. It actually lowers the adrenaline spike so the doubt doesn't hijack the brain. On our team, we practice it live. I'd call an obvious terrible strike during BP and make the kids go through a reset immediately. The kid who used to pout and tighten up started bouncing back in seconds. It keeps the body loose and the mind from spiraling into I can't trust anything. Step 2, next pitch mentality. Flush it and refocus. This is a mental flip. Once the emotion is out, flip the switch instantly. That pitch is dead. What's my plan right now? This is the mantra every level preaches because dwelling on the absurdity of that high strike is the fastest way to ruin the rest of the at-bat and the approach you trained for. We want to teach concrete cues. Say to yourself or out loud later in the dugout, next pitch, see ball, hit the ball. Quick self-talk goes a long way as well. I'm ready, stay loose, my pitch is coming. Visualize the exact pitch you want, middle in fastball, or whatever pitch it may be. College coaches drill this because one bad call can make a disciplined kid chase junk for the rest of the game. By forcing the mental flip, you protect the approach you spent all those hours building. Make it team-wide in scrimmages. Blow an obvious bad call and have everyone yell, next pitch. It turns the ump's mistake into a team battle cry instead of individual defeat. Step 3, no arguing. Control what you can. This is the maturity move. Never argue, never eye roll, never throw your bat. Teach them this straight. We control our swing, our effort, and our attitude, but not the ump zone. If it's that bad, mention it calmly to the coach in the dugout later. But on the field, silent professionalism. This step is huge for confidence because it reminds the kid he's still in charge of something, even when the ump is wrecking the zone. Little League University calls it professional poise. It stops the meltdown that can turn one bad call into a season-long confidence killer. Parents, this is where you make or break it. Your kid is watching you more than the ump. Stay in the stands, no bleacher yelling. Model the exact same 3 steps. Breathe, flip to the next pitch, cheer the defense, and stay quiet. In the carpool debrief, ask, walk me through your 3 steps on the ridiculous called strike. Or how did you keep your approach after the ump went wild? Turn it into a funny story. Man, that pitch had its own zip code and a passport today. It shows your son that one bad zone doesn't define him or his training. Bottom line, yeah, a bad ump can temporarily destroy confidence and force a kid to abandon the disciplined approach that he worked so hard on. But with this three-step process, practice consistently, that destruction doesn't stick. The kid walks away knowing he controlled what he could. And that's what builds real, lasting confidence. The kind that survives any zone, any ump, any Saturday tournament. And that's the foundation. Once they master handling the call without losing their mind or their swing, we can talk about respecting the ump without getting squeezed. All right, we just broke down how a bad zone can wreck a kid's confidence and make them abandon everything that they trained for. Now let's hear it straight from a player who's been living it completely. Zan, welcome back to the podcast. As always, you've been behind the scenes or in front of the plate. What is the wildest ump story you've got from this past season or the years past?
Probably the wildest ump story was actually back in Ohio. And we were in Ohio for like a Cedar Point type of tournament. And this ump, like it was back in 8U, so the ump was trying to get like plenty of strikes since we were only 8 years old when we were pitching.
Was it on the small field?
Small field, and
Yeah, because the ump was behind you guys as pitchers.
yeah. And he didn't really have a good view, so the pitcher pitched the ball, and it was way over like my eyes, and the ump called a strike for like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I remember that was a rough day, and I think a lot of us as coaches, and even the family and the parents were looking at it like, what the hell is he calling? Like,
It wasn't just me; it was like all of our teammates.
yeah, like and then it was forcing you guys to go. It was changing your swing because you started swinging upwards because you knew it was going to be a strike, and that we've got a lot of ump stories. But that was I think the most frustrated that we've all been of like, what the hell do we do? Like, are we just swinging at everything? And like, granted, if the ump was in a better position to call, like behind the catcher, like you should be, I don't think we would be getting those calls. And that was like the worst timing because like you guys were supposed to be learning the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
We just started. We got some getting familiar to the strike zones you guys been training all season for, and then everything's over your guys' head.
Yeah.
And like you're as short as you are, didn't help your case. All right, that's a good one. Good one. Let's see here. Zan, as a player, do you ever think about umps being tired or having an off day? And I say that in the sense of when we are playing and having these games, those umps are getting like a 10-minute break and they're right back to it. Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, there's plenty of umps out there. When we were playing in like 70 to 80 degrees outside, and like we're playing and them just like strike or out, and I can tell how hard it is to get on a whole uniform on, even the mask and all that. And actually one tournament back in October, it wasn't really hot, but there was this ump that we faced this team for the semifinals, and we were actually talking to him when we were in the dugout, and we said, "Is it hard to ump?" And he said, "No, it's not really hard. It's just kind of boring. And like all you do is just like call strikes and call outs." And he was a chill dude, but he just want to get over it with the rest of the day because I think he's been there for like 7 to 6 hours
No,
for the
since
rest of
early
the day,
morning.
since like 10 o'clock, 10
Yeah.
o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the umps are just as tired as you. They're constantly going. They're getting their 10 to 15-minute break to maybe go pee and then right back to the field.
Yeah.
And often they got that one little jug that they have close or that they might throw into our.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I think it was a couple of years. No, it was last year. When we had the whole big debacle with the other team, and that ump was coming over us and asking for some seeds.
Oh,
What kind of
yeah.
seeds you got and this and that. making fun of us because we ended up mixing some Buffalo Ranch together.
Yeah.
He's like, "What is wrong with you guys?" All right. Walk us through what goes through your head when you get a bad strike call. Do you argue, stare? What exactly works for you? And like, for example, in that moment, and you've gotten plenty of bad strike calls that you've had to learn, but like the 8U tournament, you had 3 straight over your head, but you were so young, you just started. You didn't exactly have an approach. So from 8U getting those type of calls to where you are now at 12U, what is your mental approach? Because you've had multiple per season as you've gotten older, but at the same time, you've gotten more mature. You've grown. So how do you handle it yourself
I pretty much
now? I should say, how do you handle it
I
now?
handle it now if I get a bad strike or something. I basically just laugh it off, look at my teammates in the dugout and just smile at them. Like, cause usually my teammates is usually like the same thing.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, basically. And I'd be going in the dugout and they'd be like tapping on my helmet. Oh, that was a bad strike or bad all that. And,
Yeah.
yeah. And they get it too.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've even talked to you about over the past few years, even with like stuff that's in the infield, or if there's an error or something, bro, just laugh it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's out of your control. You can only do so much. Especially, I mean, can you attack the ball differently? But if it's consistent, we have to make an adjustment, right? But if it's like a strike 3 call and it's over your head, it's like you can't help but to laugh and like in a certain way, like feel sorry for the ump per se, like not in a disrespectful way. It's like, okay, he's just giving the other team that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, I see where we're going. But as a player, the only thing that we can do is like laugh it off and move on to the next pitch or the next at bat or the next time we get on the field and make another out. So yeah, I like to laugh it off. Let's see here. How do you stop a squeeze zone from making you passive? And I say, how do you stop a squeeze zone from making you passive? As in, we've been there in all games where it's a normal strike zone, then all of a sudden it gets down to a quarter size, and it's hard, as a pitcher, it's hard to hit the zone, or vice versa as a hitter. How do you make it not passive for you when it does get squeezed? What's your approach?
So for a batter, definitely make your adjustment by finding your pitches, because since it's smaller, it's probably he's probably not going to call the outside ones since it's smaller. So probably make your adjustment, and for the pitcher, just pretty much try your best. Like at this point, try not to throw hard, and if you're like throwing hard and it's not accurate, just loosen the power and then just throw it in.
Yeah, just throw it naturally and just don't take some miles off it.
Mm-hmm.
Take some miles off it and just pound the zone. Good advice. Good advice. Solid good advice. I mean, the best thing is turning into a guesser, chasing everything, right? As a hitter, like just because the zone's getting squeezed on you, and I've seen it over the years that like we don't know where the pitch is going to be, so let's just turn into like, oh, I think it's going to be there, and then it's a breaking ball, and I think it's going to be there, or I think the pitcher is going to be throwing it there, so I'm going to be guessing, and the next thing you know, it's a changeup, and it's on the inside of me. 100%. Stick to your plan like we drilled in BP. That's the best thing that you could ever do. How do you show respect to the ump but still compete hard? I mentioned this earlier in the episode about how catchers are a good foundation of where to start and form a relationship as far as showing respect. They're like a tag team the whole game, and the same thing for hitters. And I like this idea before the game starts is that your first at bat. So say we're pitching, catcher is the first one out there. He gives a bumps, shake hands, introduce themselves. And one thing I like as a hitters, when we come up to hit on our first at bat, give a nux to catch, give a nux to ump. And I think that is a great starter to show respect right off the rip. But how do you show respect to the ump but still compete hard?
I show respect for them while I'm in the infield too. So if there's an ump in front of me, and I usually like I think I did this twice or three times. I asked them a question of like, "Oh, what's your favorite Gatorade?" Or kind of
Oh,
like,
have you?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think I did before, and like they will respond, but you just had to say loud and greet them too when they're in infield with you.
Nice, nice. So even like a hey, good call, Blue, or
Yeah,
way to be on top of it. Good hustle. Like you, I like that. I like that. You're communicating well on the field. See, like I was thinking in the sense of like the ump behind the plate, but as far as infielders and defense, building that relationship while you're on the field. For example, send down, tag. He might give it to you for the sake of being respectful
yeah.
and stuff like that. I like that, dude. That's some really good advice there. Um, what's one thing you tell other 12U kids or younger about umps? So like you've been through it for the last 5 years. What is a good piece of advice to tell other kids who might be having um I don't want to say trouble, but are like you did.
A heads up.
A heads up in the sense of like what is I'm struggling with my zone. I'm struggling to find my zone.
Yeah.
But what's some advice I can tell a younger version of me, for example, how to approach these next couple of years? What can you do? What do you got?
They're gonna be hard. Like, there's gonna be troubles, and just laugh it off, like I said with the other question.
Mm-hmm.
And like the strike zones is gonna be tight. It's gonna be everywhere, but it's matters of your approach and how you attack the ball.
100%. Having approach is key. And I think the most important part is like bad calls are gonna happen. Right? I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like it's part of the game. I mean, hell, if anybody and we'll discuss this later in the episode around this in the ABS and the MLB. These guys ain't perfect. They're like CB Buckner had a rough week
Yeah.
last couple of weeks of got uh some strikes and overturn and whatnot. Like they're gonna happen, but we just don't have that um luxury in travel ball, and I don't think we're gonna have it anytime soon. But back hauls are gonna happen. But the only thing, like you said, the best thing you can do is laugh it off. Don't let your approach change and move on. You're gonna get another opportunity, right?
Hmm.
I like it. Um, Zan, I appreciate you coming on and joining the people and joining me for this little questionnaire. Hearing it from a player who's actually in the box makes all the difference. Appreciate you jumping on the mic, my brother.
Yep.
Building off what Xander just said about showing respect while still competing, respect doesn't mean rolling over and taking junk. It means competing hard while staying classy. Players, practice good eye contact, and if you were talking to an ump, a simple yes, sir, or no, sir goes a long way. And polite questions only through the catcher or coach, never direct. Teach the mature line. I thought it was outside, but I'm ready for the next one. It shows respect and maturity without actually arguing with the ump. Coaches and parents, you handle any real discussion. Calm, private, between innings, and short. Never let respect become fear. If the zone is squeezing your kid, adjust mentally. We'll talk more about this in a bit, but don't teach chasing garbage pitches. The balance is know the rules cold, then keep it pro. Youth Baseball Edge has a whole series on this. Argue the rule, not the call, and only through the coach. So, how do we prevent umps from dictating your batting approach? This one hits hitters right in the swing path. Don't let a shaky zone turn you into a free swinger chasing everything. The core strategy here, stick to your plan. Play discipline is king at 12U and younger, and of course, obviously, in college and pro ball. Pre-game huddle. We swing at our pitches, not the umps. If the zone is high today, shrink your mental strike zone slightly. Protect the plate on the borderline pitches, but never chase meatballs outside your approach. A specific drill for kids. In the cage or BP, simulate a tight zone. Coach calls high strike on purpose so they practice adjusting without changing mechanics. College hitting coaches swear by these mental reps. Parent tip, In the carpool debrief, ask what was your plan that at bat and did you stick to it? Instead of saying, the ump robbed you. It shifts focus to growth. Angel Hernandez would have had you swing at the next zip code. Don't let your Saturday volunteer do the same. This teaches kids the game is about controlling what you can and not fighting every call. Catchers, I want you guys in a working relationship with the ump. Coaches, your catcher is a secret weapon for stealing those strikes and keeping the game running smooth. For my catchers listening, pre-game move, if you aren't already doing it, walk up before the first pitch, introduce yourself with a smile, and say, hey, I'm Brian, nice to meet you, how's your day going? Learn his name and use it. It humanizes the whole thing. During the game best practices, and these are straight from catching coaches and pro tips. Stay face forward. Never pull the glove back to frame or show a ball. Give the ump a clean, still look for half a second. Positive, quiet chatter only. Please, no trash talk. Frame quick and relax. Stick it just long enough for the ump to see it, then return it back to the pitch. Youth Baseball Edge and ABCA catcher clinics say catchers who build rapport with the ump get 10 to 15% more borderline calls over a season, simply because the ump trusts their glove work. It helps the whole pitching staff. Parents and coaches encourage this. It's leadership in action. Treat the ump like your new best friend who you protect for 7 innings and watch the magic happen. So we've talked a ton about what players, parents, and coaches should do. Now, let's flip the script and give the umps some love and actual tips. Most of you listening who ump are volunteers doing it for the kids. So this is straight from Little League University training, ABCA umpire clinics, and what actually works at the youth level. Consistency is everything for fairness. Call the same zone top to bottom and inning to inning. Kids and coaches can adjust if it's predictable. Nothing frustrates us faster than a zone that shrinks like a pair of jeans in the dryer mid-game. Hustle and positioning. Get aggressive in the slot. A good heel-toe stance. Clear the catcher fast on wild pitches and prioritize good angles over distance on bang-bang plays. Better positioning means fewer missed calls and way more trust from everyone on the field. Communicate clearly. Loud, crisp strike or ball calls. Announce the count on big moments, 3-2 and full count. Confidence sells. Even a tougher call feels fair when you absolutely own it. Be a teacher when safe. Quick, calm explanation after a check swing or an obstruction. Hey kid, your foot came off the bag. That's why it's an out. Pre-game chat with the coaches on ground rules sets everyone's expectations. Post-game handshakes with both teams model respect. Protect the kids first. This is something I would love to see more. Enforce pitch count religiously. No 100-pitch marathons. Keep pace of plane moving. Limit warm-up pitches. And step in immediately on unsafe stuff like bat flipping and dangerous slides. And again, build rapport. Smile, say hi to players by name. It's literally on the jerseys. Drop a quick, good swing, kid. Next one's yours. It turns a rough at bat for the kids into motivation. Little League University has free online modules on mechanics, the pivot, and slot work. Umps who hit a clinic yearly makes games better for everyone. When umps do these things, kids learn rules, resilience, and sportsmanship way better than any coach lecture ever could. Umpires who hustle look pro, and suddenly even tough calls feels less personal. To all the umps out there, thank you for being out there. You guys are helping shape the next generation. Now, to pivot to the big league, the ABS challenge system is officially live. Human umps still call every pitch on the field, but players, the batter, pitcher, or catcher, can tap their helmet right after a pitch to challenge it. Hawkeye cameras powered by T-Mobile check it instantly. The graphic pops up on the stadium board, and the call gets overturned or confirmed in about 13 to 14 seconds. Teams start each game with 2 challenges. You keep them if you win the challenge, lose 2 incorrect ones, and you're done for the rest of the game. In extra innings, everyone gets at least 1 fresh challenge per inning, so nobody runs out completely. So, how's it actually playing out a couple weeks into the regular season? Pretty solid overall, with some real drama and a few umps filling the heat, but I think it's been awesome. Early numbers show roughly 3.7 to 4.3 challenges per game across the league. The overall overturn rate is sitting around 54 to 55% from several hundred track challenges so far. Catchers are leading the way with success rates near 60 to 64%. Makes total sense since they're framing and seeing the zone up close. Batters are hovering around 50%, and the system is adding strategy without wrecking pace of play. Most challenges take just seconds, and games aren't dragging noticeably. But it's also shining a spotlight on some veteran umps in a way we've never seen. Take CB Bucknor, which he's had a hell of a start to the season under the new system. In one game against the Reds, he had 8 ball strike calls challenged, and 6 of them got overturned, including a brutal back-to-back sequence where he called 2 straight third strikes, only to have both flipped to balls. Players and fans noticed. There have been other head-scratching moments too, like a wild non-touch call at first base that got mocked by both dugouts, which I'm pretty sure that was CB as well. The ABS system is basically exposing when the zone gets inconsistent, and Bucknor has been one of the most challenged and overturned umps early on. It's a mix of funny and eye-opening. We've seen calls overturned by fractions of an inch, dramatic ninth inning game winners, like the Orioles catcher seeing a win with a successful challenge, and teams learning when to pull the trigger. Fans seem to like the added drama and fairness without going full robot umps. For MLB moving forward, this middle ground tech is reducing the biggest arguments, boosting accuracy on close pitches, and keeping the human element alive. It might add 30 to 60 seconds total per game for challenges, but the payoff is fewer. That pitch was 6 inches outside, meltdowns that drag on forever. Now, to zoom on back to our travel ball world, full ABS or Hawkeye probably won't show up at travel tournaments or Little League fields anytime soon. Simply, it's too damn expensive. Too many volunteer umps and pure logistics nightmare. But the ripple effects are already starting. More emphasis on umpire training and consistency at every level. Better clinics, and maybe someday tech at big showcases or high school state tournaments. Until then, the human side is still gold for our kids. A bad call, even a face-high strike, or one way outside can shake confidence and mess with the approach you train for. But that's exactly why we teach the 3-step process. Next pitch mentality and treating umps like humans. It builds resilience that no robot can teach. When your son makes a show someday, he might be tapping his helmet in a tight World Series spot. But for now, build the mental game that survives any zone, human or tech assisted. That's the real win for 12U ball and younger. So our big takeaways from today: a bad ump can temporarily, absolutely destroy confidence and force kids to abandon their train approach. But the 3-step process, next pitch mentality, catcher rapport, and treating umps like humans all protect us. And also, Xander dropped some straight from the box wisdom that every 12U or younger player needs to hear. Drop your funniest bad call story or best ump tip in the comments, or DM us. We might read the best ones next episode. Next time the zone shrinks tighter than your kid's pants after a growth spurt, just remember, Angel Hernandez survived 33 years of it. You'll survive the Saturday tournament. Keep the cleats clean, the carpool loud, and love the game. Catch you next time on the Cleats and Carpool podcast. Until next time, we will see you on the field. Take care.